Hi everyone, let me know if you can see and hear me okay. I hope the audio is okay, and it looks really, really red there. Just changed it back to the quality, hopefully. Let me keep my hands up here for a couple minutes. Can you guys see and hear me alright? And I have the camera pointed down because it is so bright behind me. And it's really bright behind me, and it is like glaring really bad when I pointed the camera up at me. Can anybody see or hear me? I don't know, the chat's not... Am I live? Okay, you guys can? Awesome. Okay, thank you. Alright, so I'm not going to point the camera up just because I have a window right behind me, as most of you guys probably know if you've watched my classes before. And it is super sunny. Like, the sun's going down right now, and it is right, like literally right in my window, and it points like behind me, and it makes the camera look black, and you can't even see anything. So I just pointed it down, and the lighting's really good actually right now. So tonight, you guys, we're going to be making this bracelet. I think this is such a cool bracelet. Look at this. Do you see all these like charms and different fun little things on there? We're going to be creating this super fun bracelet tonight using some of the Prima vintage buttons, some of the vines actually. Like, we're going to be deconstructing some of the Prima vines, and we're going to be using some genie stones and some lace and a few other miscellaneous items that are jewelry supplies. So this is the project we're going to be making. I just put it on this green book because I thought it showed up a little bit better than just showing you here. And this is like a charm bracelet, so as you can see, it would, let me put it on just so I can show you. It would essentially look something like this, like on your wrist. And there's the front of it. See, like this? You could add as many charms as you want, and you could layer it up with some other bracelets if you'd like to. It's a really simple, just sort of stackable bracelet, or it could be like a statement piece if you desire, just whatever you want to do with your bracelet. And whoa, sorry, my phone died and it just clicked on, and I have some texts. Un momento. I just wanted to make sure, one of them was from Kara, I just wanted to make sure she didn't say anything like important that I needed to know. So, this is the project we're going to be making tonight, you guys, and it's a super fun one. It's really simple and easy, so really anybody can do this. You're just going to need to get the supplies to do so. And we are still growing in viewers, and of course, you guys, as a lot of you probably know, if you've been to my classes, the jewelry classes normally get a lot less viewers just because Prima is normally for scrapbooking, but of course you could use it in so many different crafting, like different ways to craft. So we're going to incorporate in some jewelry, and then which is why most scrapbookers are like, I don't make jewelry, I don't need to watch the video. But all of you guys are here to make some awesome jewelry, which is awesome. But just in case you guys were wondering why there wasn't so many people on there online tonight, it's because it's a jewelry class, and I already told you, there's not a lot of people who like, who want, or who have the desire to create jewelry. They'd rather make a mini album or something. So, that's the project we're going to be making tonight. We're going to start in just a couple minutes here. 6:33. Oh, want to see my ombre hair? I dyed my hair ombre. Ombre, or however you say it. Ombre. O-M-B-R-E. Okay, it looks like this. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Can you see this? It's like darker at the bottom and it's lighter at the top. It took me like 6.5 hours to do it. Yes, I really like it also, but sadly my hair grows so long. Yeah, I did it myself. My hair grows super duper fast. Like, literally, I get a haircut and I have to go back the next week to get another haircut because it's grown, I'm not joking you guys, an inch. It at least grows probably like 1/8 of an inch a day, or like a little bit more than that. It grows so fast, so it keeps getting cut off, and it's like I have to keep re-dyeing it and stuff. But that's good, because I guess when it cuts off, like if it's darker down here and it's lighter up here and they cut it off, it's going to be lighter up here still and darker down here, but then again it's going to grow out some. So then when I re-dye it, I could just re-dye the whole thing and it will stay. I don't have to I don't have to do it multiple steps like I did the first time, because it's already going to be faded. I'll just have to re-dye it because it will brighten the top and brighten the bottom. But as you could probably tell, the bottom's going to be really dark and the top's going to be really bright, so it's only going to be able to brighten the top a bit brighter and the bottom just a bit brighter as well. I don't know if that even makes sense. Okay, you guys, so this is a project, I probably said that 37.5 times now, and let me just go over the tools and supplies we're going to be using for tonight's class. We're going to be using some of these Genie Stones, and look at how fun these are. These are the Genie Stones by Prima, and you get a total of 12 pieces in here. And these are the 556679, and they're the gold-wrapped Genie Stones. So they have a gold wire wrapping on them, and you could... On this bracelet, as you can see, I used some gold just because the vines that we're going to use actually have some gold glittery leaves. So I thought the gold would be a great accent, even though there is like a touch of bronze and a brassy color in here, bronze. I thought the gold would be a fun, bright color, just make it sort of pop. And yes, Carrie, they also do... Well, I mean, I'm not trying to answer your question because Carrie, of course, knows, but these also come in just the Genie Stones without the wire wrapping on them, and you get 18 pieces instead of 12. So you get some more, but they're not wire wrapped. And the wire wrapping adds a really great finished look to your pieces. It really makes it look like you spent a lot more time on your project when really you didn't have to spend a lot more time wire wrapping them yourself. And then we're going to use some vintage buttons, and these are what they look like. These are 550738, and I don't know what collection these are from. They're from one of the winter releases in January, but I don't remember which collection these are from. Romantique collection. These are the Romantique vintage buttons, and you get a total of 12 pieces in here. And we're also going to be using this Prima vine, and this is what I was talking about. So you actually get a copper colored vine and a gold colored vine. So if you want to use a copper or bronze chain, you could substitute these gold leaves for these copper leaves, or you could stick with the gold elements and use the gold leaves. Or you can incorporate both of them and mix and match them if you'd like to. But these are the medley vines in the color Midas, M-I-D-A-S, and these are 553463. And the last Prima product we're going to be using is just a little bit of a lace, and this is the Alencon vintage sort of tea-dyed looking lace, and this is what I call the little mini doily style lace. They look like little miniature doilies. Do you see these? They look like little mini doilies, don't they? But you could use whatever lace you'd like, or you could incorporate some ribbon or whatever you'd want to add into there. And after we use the Prima, these are the Prima items we're going to be using, and we're also going to be using a couple of just basic jewelry supplies. Some gold chain here. This is from my Etsy store. I do have a jewelry supply shop, so that's why. Because before I did scrapbooking, I used to do jewelry, and so I started a jewelry supply shop, and I still have it. So this is just some gold chain here, and it looks like this. It's a curb link chain, and it's a diamond cut one, so it's a really nice looking chain. Looks like this. Yes, you guys, scrapbook.com does have all the supplies in stock right now, because I actually ordered these from scrapbook.com because Prima is all sold out of them, and by the time I went to go reorder the products from Prima before I made the sample, or after I made the sample, they were all sold out. So I went to scrapbook.com and ordered them about a week ago, and they already got here. So I got them at scrapbook.com. And this is the gold chain we're going to be using, and then these are the gold jump rings, also from my store. Do you see these? This is probably one of my favorite items. We have these in gold, bronze, silver, and an antique silver, as well as a stainless steel, which is like a super expensive one. Well, not super expensive, but if you want stainless steel, I guess you probably know what the price is. But it comes with all these jump rings and these assorted sizes. You get all of these different rings from like a size 1mm all the way up to a 12. And there's a ton of them in here. They're sorted per color or per size, and they come in these little packages. And then we're just going to need a couple, or you're just going to need one clasp. These are gold clasps, also from our store. They come in a pack of, I don't know how many, like 15, but these are all sold out right now, sadly. So, but you could pick them up at Michael's. No, my Etsy store is Discount Charms. If you want, I could write it down just so you could see it. If I have a pen, I don't know if I do. 1 second, you guys. Bad one. This is my Etsy store, discounttcharms.etsy.com, and you can go ahead and pick yourself up some jewelry supplies and pick yourself up some Prima goodies from scrapbook.com or whatever other online retailer happens to carry these products, and you can make an awesome bracelet like this, and you'll have so much chain. I already used this chain on this bracelet and another bracelet that I made, and I still have this much left, and I think this is only like $5.79 or something like that. So let's get started, you guys. I have kept you waiting long enough. I'm going to keep this bracelet over on the side here. And to start off, you're going to want to figure out how long you want to make your bracelet and cut your chain to that length. So, I have a bit of chain here, and an average bracelet, or an average wrist size is 7.5 inches. That's your average wrist size. Let me click over here. That's your average wrist size. So I'm going to cut this to 7.5 inches. Or I'm going to actually cut it to 8 because I want to have like a ½ inch extension in case somebody wears it who has a little bit of a larger wrist. So I'm going to cut it to 8, and I'm just going to use a pair of pliers, or cutters I should say, to cut this chain. Here we go. You're just going to cut it off of your piece. So you're going to have an 8.5 inch link of chain, and then that's all you need for your chain. No more chain is needed. You could set that off to the side. Okay, so we have our 8.5 inch link of chain right here, and to one end of your chain you're going to want to attach a clasp. So here is the clasp that you're going to need. This is just a gold lobster claw clasp. It's like your basic clasp. And I'm just going to use one of our jump rings from the jump ring pack, and I'm going to use one of the smaller sized ones because I don't want the ring to show that much, so I don't want a big huge opening. So I'm just going to basically use a ring that will let my clasp and my chain fit tightly in the ring, but not too tight as to where like it's super duper tight and the clasp has no room to move. So I'm going to maneuver this in. And I just take my ring and close it. And I'm going to show you guys how to open and close a jump ring once I get to the larger ones, because these ones are super small and I can't even show you. It's really tiny. And now you're going to have a clasp on the end of your bracelet. So see how simple that was? Super simple. And then we can get into the embellishing. And there are some really fun techniques in the different embellishing that we're going to be using. But a little glue that I'm going to use is this E6000 adhesive. How many of you guys have heard of E6000? Probably a lot. But it is basically a industrial strength adhesive. It's clear and transparent. It is flexible, paintable, non-flammable, waterproof, safe for photographs, and it is literally like a cement. Oh yeah, and it stinks bad. Am I frozen, you guys? Okay. And I use this because it is super duper strong. I use it to attach like cabochons, like the Prima resin flowers. I use them to attach to metals and stuff. And I attach metal to metal with this adhesive as well. It is awesome. And we are going to be using the genie stones. So I'm going to open my pack of genie stones here and just put them on my table. Love the genie stones. They're just so colorful and they look really pretty. Like they're faceted, really nice, and they look like really like crystals. But they still have a little vintage sort of costume jewelry-esque vibe to them, even though they're not really. And then all this gold just sort of brightens it. If that makes sense. I hope it didn't make it sound like trashy or anything. Okay, And then we're going to just sort of lay out our genie stones. And I want to use all 12 of them. So I'm just going to start at one end and sort of just alternate sides, just like this. See, I put one on this side and one on this side, and I hope you guys can see this. I can't zoom in any at all, sadly. Or maybe I can. Let's see. Advanced settings. Oh, maybe I... Did I just do something? Did I just, like, do something wrong, you guys? Is it still there? Am I still on? Or maybe I should do it on some white cardstock. That might be a little bit easier for you guys to see. Is that... Yeah, that's a lot better. Okay, I'm going to use some white cardstock to show you guys. So I have my link of chain down here. And I'm going to start alternating my pieces about every third link, I would say. It depends on how wide your chain is. For charm bracelets, you typically want a little bit of a thicker, wider chain. And you're just going to alternate the colors and the position of the gems. And if I can't fit them all on, that's fine. And you're also keep in mind that you're going to need one for the very end, because we're going to add one just as a little sort of embellishing accent to the end of our little extension chain. So I think that is probably about good. Maybe I can move these down just a little bit so I could fit more on here. I'm just going to move them down one link, and then I'm going to add an additional one down here. I want to use this purplish colored one. So now you're going to have all of your genie stones put out, and let me I don't know if I can't really pick this up, but this is basically what your bracelet is going to be looking like. And now at this point you could pull up your chain, because you're going to have a good idea of where your stones are going to be. And we're going to go back to our jump rings here, and for these you're going to want to go up a little bit in size. And let me show you how to open and close a jump ring on one of these larger jump rings. So this is a jump ring here. It looks like this. It's just a round, circular, sort of wire band. And it has a cut on one side. And you'll see the cut in the ring. And basically you're going to take two pairs of pliers and pull apart from the cut. So I'm going to pull it open. And it's going to open up your ring like this. It's just going to give you that open little section to add on your charms, add on your chain, whatever you're going to attach, and then I simply just close it the same way. And you're going to want to sort of bring it back and forth a couple of times, because that will work harden the bottom. This little bottom part of metal that's basically parallel to the cut of metal, the bottom part is actually going to be work hardened, and it's going to basically solidify, or like really harden up your ring, and it's not going to make it open. So I'm going to pull out just a couple of these to work with. I'm just going to use my pliers to do so. Okay, and then I'm going to pull a ring and open up the ring just like we have by twisting the ring open. Taking our first genie stone, attaching it onto the ring, and adding it to your link of chain that was desired. And I figured out I'm going to go I'm going to put a genie stone, skip 2 links, and then add a genie stone. So I added a genie stone there, and I'm going to take another piece here, and I'm going to take a genie stone, attach it on, and I'm going to skip 2 links and add it onto the third link. So does this make sense, everyone? And you could just sort of let these fall, because after you have them attached, you don't have to do anything with them. So let me just lay this out so I could see which side I've already added the stones to. Okay, this side, so I need to add one to the blue side. Stick it over here. Attach it. You're just going to alternate the sides. And as you could probably tell, the chain does have a side. Like here's one side of the chain, here's the other side of the chain. Oh yeah, scrapping corner. That would be awesome to do the velvet baubles. to make a velvet bracelet with the velvet baubles. I didn't even think of that. That would be really neat. The new velvet baubles that Prima just released. And you could just go ahead. And I'm going to go really quickly now just because I want to move on to the next step so I could show you guys. And once you get like the hang of jewelry, or just like opening and closing jump rings and attaching them, you could really make multiple of these bracelets. And doesn't this bracelet, it kind of looks expensive. I think it looks sort of like a designer bracelet. I really like it. And my mom likes it also. I think she's planning on stealing it from me after the class. But I'll have two, so maybe I'll do a giveaway on my blog for one of them. Or on here. We'll see. Okay. So now you're going to have a couple of stones on there. Stones. So what's your guys' new paper collection from the 7 new releases that Prima came out with? What is your favorite one? I see some chat about it in the chat, but I'm not sure. Yes, Nana Beth Craftsman is my favorite. I love the Craftsman. It's definitely my favorite new collection. I really, really, really love the Tea Time as well. Okay, and then you're gonna have this connection chain. We want to have a little link of chain here, and I'm gonna add one on to the end. And I have 2 genie stones left, so I might even just add an additional one over here and just have like an inch of extension. I'm just adding this onto the very last link of chain. So basically your bracelet's going to look like this at the moment. You're going to have a clasp on one end, and then about 8 inches, or about 7¼ inches of chain that has the genie stones on it. Then you're going to have about 1 inch of chain on the end with a genie stone on the very end. So this is sort of a connection, or not a connection chain, an extension chain, and this is actually your bracelet part. So it's going to end up clasping here, and that's sort of the thing we're going for. Okay. Oh, why did I just pull that paper away? Now we can move on to our next step, which we're actually going to create some embellishments. So we could pull our bracelet off to the side for a minute, and we're going to go to our buttons. And these are again the Romantique Vintage buttons, and we are going to use them all. So I'm going to open my package. And I'm going to attempt to open it. Let me get my craft knife. There are some of the buttons there. Oh yes, I love Firefly, Carrie. I think Firefly probably has to be my favorite collection. Okay, so here are all of our buttons. I'm going to flip them over so you can see them all. Look at all these gorge buttons. Oh, this one's not flipped around. Ooh, fancy. You probably can't see them too well because they're on this white cardstock. Okay, 1 second. Un momento. And we're going to be making our own, or some of our own, embellishments out of these buttons. So these ones here, which look like this, you will not need to do anything to, so you can set those to the side, as well as the flowers, you won't need to do anything to, and lastly these ones, which are sort of like the really vintage enamel buttons that look like this. But these last sets of buttons that are, they're shank buttons, but they don't have a shank, so they're essentially like, they're sort of like a cameo. It just has sort of a cameo lady face on one side and it's flat on the back, so it's like a cameo. And you're going to need 3 of the largest rings from this set. So I'm just going to get out 3 rings because we're going to be creating 3 back-to-back charms. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my E6000 adhesive and I'm going to open it. I hope I can. I hope the lid's not like glued shut or something. Okay, I'm just going to start exploding out of here. So you're going to take some E6000 adhesive and just add a good amount covering the back and making sure it's kind of globby because you're going to want it to form around your ring because we're going to be sticking a ring in between this. So I added some E6000 adhesive to this side. If you can see the glossiness, it's sort of a thick layer. Like if I was to apply glossy accents, that's the layer. And I'm going to take one of the rings, and you're going to want to make sure that the cut in the ring is going to be on the inside. So you're going to stick the cut in the ring on the inside with a little bit of it popping out. Can you see how I have it sort of halfway on and halfway off? Hey, Roxy car. Roxy. And you're going to attach the opposite side on here. There, so you guys can see this. So basically, you're going to take the, it's going to look something like this. There are 2 of the resin flowers on either side, and we made a little loop to hang it on. And then you're just going to set this off to the side to dry, and that will dry like super rock hard. I'm not joking. That will not come apart. And I'm going to do the same thing for our last 2. So this is the metal one, so I'm going to add just a little bit more adhesive than I did to the resin ones, just because it's a bit heavier. And I'm going to place that on there and stick this down. Okay, looks like this. They're basically attached with the jump ring halfway hanging off. That way it gives us a loop to hang on, and these don't just go, we can't use them on our project. I tried to think of a way to incorporate them, so we're sort of making our own charms. You could do this with hot glue as well, but it may not stick as well. It may come apart. And if you just make sure that the cut of the jump ring, the little cut in the ring, is on the inside, it'll really be great because then you're going to make sure that the ring on the outside is completely secure and it has no chance at all of falling off your project. So I'm going to move this out of the way. See how much it brightens up my video? Dark, bright. I'm going to move that out of the way, and so now you're going to have 3 charms drying here. And now we're going to go ahead and make some of our awesome leaf charms. So I think this time I'm going to use both the gold and the copper looking leaves, but you get a total of 4, and 2 of them are the same size. You have like a group of 2 and a group of 2. These 2 are the same size, they're a little bit smaller, and these 2 are the same size. So I'm going to take them and just cut them. They're on wire. Actually, you know, I'm going to peel it up off the wire. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Can you see how there's a little strip of wire running down the back of this leaf? Do you see this wire right here? All I'm going to do is I'm going to take the back of the leaf and pull it up and off of the wire. So I just pulled it off the wire. We don't want any wire in there. We want them to be really like free and like movable. So I'm going to pull the leaves off of there, and I'm going to pull them off of this one as well. seems like we're just destructing this vine, but really if you just take like a little bit of gold rub and buff or something, you could add it onto this vine, and then just take your pair of round nose pliers. Where are my round nose pliers? Oh, I don't know where they are right now. And you could just twist this vine up, or twist this up, and just like sort of pop it out, and it could just add another little sprig onto your vine. So that it'll just have no leaves, it'll just be like beads and wire, if that makes sense. I'm going to pull these leaves off of here. Okay, and this is, I'll show you the size, what I'm talking about. So as you can see, these two are the same size. These two are the same size. Here are the copper. And then here are the two smallers. So see how the bottom row is a bit smaller than this top row here? So these two are going to be pairs right here. These two will be pairs, these two will be pairs, and those two will be pairs. And what we're going to do with these, let me see how I did it on my bracelet. Yeah, we did it the same concept. You're going to use your large. I'm not going to use the largest one just because the leaf comes to a point at the top, and I don't want too much of my large ring to be like literally like floating around the ring or the leaf, because it doesn't have much surface space at the top to cover it. There's just that little sort of pointed tip. So I'm going to take some more E6000, and I'm going to do like all of these. You're just going to cover the whole back of the leaf, and this will really give you like a hard texture on the leaf as well. Okay. Add on glue. There we go. I just did all 4 of them. I just added a nice amount of adhesive, and then I'm just going to take my pliers and set in a jump ring right on the edge, or right on the tip of the leaf. We're making our own charms. Isn't this fun? You could do this with really anything, you guys. Any extra Prima leaves you have. You could dip them in a melting pot, and then you could add them on. How cool would that be? And you could just tack them together and add a ring and make your own charms. Okay, and then I'm just going to take the other leaf, and I'm going to make sure that I'm fastening it on. So here is one. Here are the sides of our leaves that are facing down. I'm going to attach this leaf so that the glitter side is up, and the two ugly sides, or like the white sides, are together. And I'm just going to glue them together and really just like press them together and make sure our ring is set at the top. Get them really bonded. And when this E6000 hardens, this will harden into a really hard looking charm. So now you're going to have this, and can you see the ring on the end there? The ring is on the end, so you could attach it and you just flip it over. And I didn't press it well enough. You flip it over and you have the glitter on both sides of your leaf. So take that, set it off to the side. I'm going to take this leaf and attach it as well, and just really press and bond the two leaves together. Same with the copper. You could sort of adjust the top of the ring as well if you'd like to, and then just sort of make sure that they're really pressed and they will stick to each other. Okay, last leaf. Here we go. So you're going to have 4 leaf charms. Do you see how we did that? Yes, you guys, these stay together super well. Can you see my charm bracelet? These are totally not going anywhere. Like I'm literally pulling on these really hard, like the 2 pieces, and these are not going, like my hands are shaking. They're not. These are going to stay together. Okay, so now we can start adding on our buttons that did not need anything thing because they have a hole on them. Somewhere, as you can see, this one has a hole in the center. Can you see my hand sort of moving underneath it? It's like a basic button. It has 2 holes in the center. This one has a filigree backing, so we could stick a hole through the filigree on the back. And then this one has multiple holes all the way around it. There's some smaller holes on the outside. And you're going to use some jump rings again. And I'm going to use 2 of the largest size rings that are in this set for the button with the 2 holes, because I'm going to have to reach far in there to get my... I'm going to have to have I'm going to have to have a long ring to get my... to get it in there, if that makes sense. The ring has to be large enough to reach the center of the button. And then you're just going to place it onto your charm bracelet anywhere. Just make sure that every link has something. You get it now that you have the genie stone spaced out, those are really the only things that you're going to need spaced out. These can actually just go anywhere all over the whole project. So I'm closing them. I'm going to add an additional. Do you guys have any questions? Any questions at all? And make sure to space the different buttons out. So don't put 2 of them right next to each other unless you want to. Okay, and I'm going to grab a couple of these smaller sized rings. Attach my other buttons on. And you're just going to start building up on your charm bracelet. As you can see, it's looking a bit fuller already. And when we have everything, it's just going to be so, like, nice looking. So I'm going to try to work a little bit quicker. We only have a couple more elements to add on. And one of them fell off, as you could just see. This little filigree flower did, because I didn't close the jump ring tight enough. And that's when you could tell you didn't close your ring tight enough, is if it falls off. So just make sure that you close your ring, especially on the filigree, because you know filigrees are so thin. But if you have something really thick like that, like one of these thicker other buttons that we have, you don't really have to worry about super duper closing it. But definitely on these filigrees or any thin object, if you have a super thin ring or something that you're attaching. Okay, so I made sure that was super closed, and I have one more of these flower buttons to add. And I'll set it on this white cardstock so you guys can see it a little bit better. Okay, so I'm going to stick this one down at the end. Okay. Now I'm going to grab some more rings. You're just going to need a couple of them just to attach our leaf on that we did. So you may need to give them a little bit more time to dry, but I'm going to just start attaching on like our button embellishments that we created. I'm just going to start attaching them because we don't have a super long amount of time, but I'm going to make sure to be careful. They are pretty dry. They're not going to be moving anywhere, but you never know. Okay, and I'm going to do the last one down here. So as you can see, our bracelet's already getting fuller of fun little knick-knacky type thingies. It looks like, at least. Kind of. And these leaves are so light, they're barely going to add any weight to your bracelet, which is pretty cool. But see how the glittery leaf just adds like a little pop of shimmer in there? I think that they are like a great just little touch to add. And the glitter doesn't flake either, which I was really happy about. I thought that maybe the glitter would flake off of the leaves, but it really doesn't. I rubbed the leaf when I first made my sample just to make sure it wouldn't, and none of the glitter came off the leaf. And I'm going to attach a leaf down here. Okay, and lastly I'm going to add a leaf down on this end. So there you go, you guys. That is our charm bracelet. It is all set and done. We do have a couple more little steps. So do you see all the charms on here? It's just as many charms as the prior bracelet. But as you can see, there's a little bit of lace in this bracelet, and we want to add the lace because the lace is awesome. Oh, this empty spot, you guys, are you talking about this empty spot down here? This is an extension. So basically when you are to close your bracelet, you could either close it at this length here and have about this much extra if your wrist is smaller, or you can give it as a gift if you don't know someone's exact wrist size, and they'll be able to link it at this length here. See, like that's what I do with these bracelets that I made. I make sure I have some extra chain, just because, first of all, these friendship bracelets take forever to make, so I don't want to make like a 7-inch one and have it wrap all the way around my arm. I'd rather have this like metal stuff on the underside and just have it showing on the top, because that would be awesome. Thank you, Jamie. Okay, 1 second. Okay, let's give away a bracelet, you guys, but I'm not done yet, so wait until the end. You're going to have to be on till the end. I am going to add on some lovely lace. And to do so, you're just going to need to add a ring. You're just going to need to take a jump ring and attach it to one side. So just take your ring, and in your doily you're going to see there's some holes. It's like a lace. So I just go through a couple of the holes because I want to make sure, like if I went through one, that hole may rip. So I go through a couple, about 3 holes, and then I attach it onto the end, the last link of chain, or you could even just attach it onto the jump ring that you attached your clasp on with. And you could either let it just sort of free fall and have it sort of as a wrap bracelet if you want to just let the lace free fall on it, or you can go ahead and just wrap your chunky charm bracelet in it like this. See how I just wrapped it in there? I'll show you guys again. You probably couldn't see that. Okay, so if I take my lace like this and I hold it sort of straight down, I could wrap my bracelet around the lace, and then it will sort of come undone, and you're just going to have to wrap it around and catch it at the bottom. And that will give you a nice amount of lace going through the center. And then at this very ending portion, you're just going to take your clippers and cut off that last little section of lace. Take another jump ring and hold your lace with your chain so it doesn't unravel, which is kind of hard because you have to hold it, open a jump ring, and a couple other tasks all at once. And you're just going to add your chain on and then stick your lace through your jump ring a couple times in the last link and just fasten it shut. And if you'd like to, if you're kind of worried about your bracelet coming unraveled with the lace, you could add a couple. You could sort of fasten it like maybe here throughout your bracelet with a ring, just attach the lace to the chain, which is what I'm going to do because I want to make sure that this stays together. So I'm just going to add a connector sort of at the center. The jump ring is just going to hold your lace to your bracelet. So that's just going to make sure that the lace stays with the bracelet and doesn't just like fall off. You can just sort of twist it before you wear it, and it will just make a really awesome little piece. So let's close it up and see what it looks like. There we go, you guys. So that is the bracelet class for today. You could sort of adjust your charms around if you'd like to get them in different spots, because the lace sort of moves them in different areas. But that was the bracelet class. How awesome, you guys, was that? It was super simple also. You guys, we're going to be giving away one of these bracelets tonight. So, Carrie, will you pick a winner from the chat? Bye, Jamie. So we're going to be giving away one of these awesome chunky bracelets tonight. The other one I'll give to my mom because she wanted one. And just, Carrie will pick a winner from the chat, and then if Carrie... Yes, everyone is eligible. Triflies, or trifles. Trifles, you win! I thought it said triflies, like fireflies. Okay, so trifles, if you could send me your mailing address to my email, which is beadbuyer107@gmail.com. Here, I'll type it in here. So, copy and paste that, trifles, into your email, and just email me your address, and I will ship you off one of these bracelets. And you guys, if you were to make this bracelet, let me just add up what you're going to purchase. You're going to purchase this pack of vines for about $4.99, but then keep in mind, you only use the leaves. So you're still going to have these two awesome vines to work with. So really, let's just say you're spending like $1 on those. So $1 on those, you're going to be purchasing, I think these are $3.99. Is that right, Carrie? The Romantique buttons? Or are they $4.99? $3.99 or $4.99, so $4 or $5. Let's just say $6 were added up to. $6, and then the little genie stones for $3.99 for $10. $10 plus a tiny little link of chain, a couple jump rings, and a clasp. So like literally $11 or $12 to make one of these bracelets, and you made it all by yourself. You can customize it however you want, and which is awesome. And that is all, you guys, for tonight. I hope you enjoyed tonight's class, and I don't know my date for next month's class yet, and I don't have my project done for next month's class, completely done yet. So I'll have to. It'll be a surprise when I'll announce it on my blog on like the first of the month. So thank you guys so much for coming and watching, and I will talk to you all later. And this class was recorded, so if you want to come back if you decide to get some kits or stuff, if you want to get some kits, you can totally, or not kits, sorry, I'm reading the chat. If you want to come back, if you purchase some of the product and make your own bracelet, or if you just want to get some own little charms and stuff, you could totally do that as well. So thanks so much, and I will talk to you all later. Thanks so much for coming. Bye, everyone.